Welcome you all for an overview of Structure, Sign and Play in the Discourse of Human Sciences by Jacques Derrida. About Jacques Derrida. Derrida was an Algerian-born French philosopher and is also known as the father of deconstruction. Deconstructionism basically refers to the rereading or breaking down of a text to show the multiple meanings at work within language. He is also one of the major figures associated with post-structuralism. He developed his philosophy through close readings of Ferdinand de Saussure, a Swiss linguist, and German philosophers Edmund Husserl and Martin Heidegger. Derrida, along with dazzling array of French thinkers like Michel Foucault, Pierre Bourdieu, Roland Barthes, Louis Althusser, Jacques Lacan, and Jean-Paul Sartre, inaugurated a new era of thinking which rejected the author as the only source of meaning and language as capable of unchanging ideas. That is, according to them, author is of not so importance and language changes ideas and meanings. Derrida published more than 40 books together with hundreds of essays and public presentations. Some of his notable works include Speech and Phenomena, of Grammatology, Writing and Difference, and Margins of Philosophy. Derrida's ideas, though complex, can trigger marginalized voices who are ready to march against the hegemonic organizations of the world. Structure, Sign and Play in the Discourse of Human Sciences was a lecture presented in an international symposium hosted by the John Hopkins University on 21st October 1966 by Jacques Derrida. This symposium was attended by many prominent and seminal structuralist thinkers who attempted to examine structuralism and not post-structuralism. Although presented at a conference and intended to popularize structuralism, the lecture is widely cited as the starting point for post-structuralism in United States. Eventually, Derrida included this lecture as Chapter 10 in his later work, Writing and Difference, which was published in the year 1967. As the title suggests, Derrida's Structure, Sign and Play in the Discourse of Human Sciences is not exclusively a literary theory, but also concerns with human sciences such as linguistics, anthropology, and philosophy. This seminal essay presents a complex idea that is not a simple idea, that human knowledge and meaning must not be founded on or centered in language. Through this essay, Derrida attempts to showcase an approach that accepts the absence of a fixed centrality in both meaning as well as human nature. That is, the theory of the absence of a permanent center. Derrida starts the essay by putting into question the basic metaphysical assumptions of Western philosophy. Since Plato, Western philosophy was positioned itself with a fixed immutable center, that is, a static presence. Western thinking has always desired for a center. The entire Western thought is based on the idea of an origin, an ideal form, an absolute truth, and a God. This old method works on the organizing and orienting principles which holds together the entire system. As a result, the universe had a specific structure, order, and center. The concept of structure is as old as the idea of knowledge in Western philosophy, and its roots go far deep into the language. For Derrida, the concept of structure is already established and unquestionable. There is no possibility of substitution of terms, contents, and elements. Rather, such an act is denied. The centered structure is an immutable fixed center which is beyond any play. According to Derrida, structural centers do not just organize but also limit free play. Center in the sense, to understand easily, you can consider it as a rule or order. This limitation to free play will no longer exist because of an absence of coherence. Let me explain with an example. If we begin to ignore the central grammatical rules of the English language and begin to speak as and how we want with complete free play, we will not be able to communicate coherently and effectively. Thus, a structure without any center is unthinkable and not able to be understood. The free play with an absolute center also causes anxiety to maintain itself. The anxiety ultimately leads to the freezing of the free play. A center also excludes and marginalizes all other valid possibilities. For example, in a male dominant society, women will be marginalized. Similarly, a culture that has Christ at the center will marginalize any other culture that is different. This anxiety for center leads to binary opposites such as Christian pagan, spirit matter, nature culture, social codes, taboos, advertising, rituals, etc. all attempt to dominate one element of the binary while repressing the other. Derrida then introduces the idea that some event has occurred. This event is some sort of rupture or break. What he is talking about is that what he sees as a major shift or break in the fundamental structure of Western philosophy. Structure here is actually the language or philosophy. That is, according to Derrida, the moment we begin to examine for the immovable absolute center, we realize that there is none. This is similar to Saussurean linguistics, where the meaning is not based on something absolute and rational. All the signs have meaning through differences. We understand day because it is not night. Similarly, we also understand the concept of afternoon because it is different from morning. Thus, the meaning is generated through other signs or words. Every word or signifier is a sound that depends on another signifier for its meaning. Thus, there exists an endless chain of words. Derrida introduces the concept of decentering. According to him, decentering is a way of reading or a way of interpretation. The concept of decentering makes us aware of the existence of a binary and breaks it. That is, it dismantles the binaries because according to Derrida, these binaries are unstable. Decentering subverts or substitutes the established center and creates a new center. However, Derrida acknowledges that this new center is equally unstable and can be easily substituted by another centers. This condition, where multiple centers become equally possible, is called free play. According to Derrida, the authors in whose works decentering was the most prominent were Friedrich Nietzsche, Sigmund Freud, and Martin Heidegger. All these writers decentered the traditional concepts and declared that there was no truth but only interpretations. Derrida next refers to Claude Lévi-Strauss' concept of bricolage in the savage mind. According to Strauss, societies engage in bricolage by using pre-existing cultures and norms and creating new meanings, myths, and social structures out of them. Bricolage challenges the idea that cultures or societies are developed through a linear progressive process. Derrida argues that all texts and speeches are connected to and influenced by pre-existing texts and speeches. This is called intertextuality. For Derrida, within a sign or a language, there will always remain a difference between the signifier and the signified. The signifier is the word and signified is the concept. For example, the signifier or the term love can be interpreted differently by different people. The signified is never absolute. So each discourse or language is a bricolage by borrowed words, phrases, and ideas from multiple sources. No discourse can stand all alone, and slang is an example of bricolage in language. Derrida develops the term difference by combining difference and differall. Difference includes the meaning of differing, being different from something else. However, it does not mean it is in the usual sense. For example, if I say that a book is different from a dog, it is about two different things with different qualities. Similarly, if you look for the meaning of "a" in a dictionary, you will find that it is the first letter of the English alphabet. But to understand what it means, you will have to know the meaning of all the words included in the definition of "a." Hence, you never really arrive on the actual meaning of "a." It is always deferred or postponed for later. Thus, the term difference is always suspended between two meanings, to differ and to defer. It never settles into either of the meanings, and the meaning will continue to dance around both the meanings. So, we also never arrive at an absolute meaning. Derrida concludes his seminal essay by suggesting that we must not feel at a loss regarding the absence or loss of a center. We must find joy and freedom in free play and absence of an absolute presence. Free play, Derrida means, is the absence of a structure which gives way to multiple interpretations. Thus, the essay has often attracted criticism from several philosophical schools. No doubt, the essay, Structure, Sign, and Play in the Discourse of Human Sciences remains one of the watershed works in the history of literary theory and criticism. Thank you.